Have you ever thought about how words, just spoken words, maybe thousands of miles away, can suddenly cause a huge explosion back home? Well, today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that, a really high-profile international trip by a former leader that really stirred up a major controversy in Kenya.
Yeah, and for this, we're drawing from two key Kenyan media sources, the Standard and Citizen. They both give us, some critical angles on how this whole thing blew up.
Right. So our mission today is pretty clear. Help you quickly get a handle on the key events, the frankly bold claims made overseas, and the really strong reactions back in Kenya. We want to give you a concise picture of it all. Okay, let's unpack this then. We're starting with the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. He left Kenya Wednesday night, heading for the U.S. This tour kicked off around July 11th, 2025.
Yeah, and there was quite a send-off at JKIA, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. His wife, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, was there, plus a number of political allies, Senator John Methu from Nyandarua, Jane Jerry Mena, the Kirinyaga woman rep, and others from his party, the DCP.
So what was the official reason, the stated purpose for this pretty long trip?
Well, Gachagua framed it himself as an engagement tour. He said he wanted to connect with the Kenyan diaspora, Kenyans living abroad, and also with key international stakeholders. The idea was to discuss the, quote, state of the nation with both groups.
Okay.
And it's important to note, this was actually his first international trip since he was removed from office back in October 2024.
Right. That context is key. And he had quite the itinerary planned.
Oh, definitely. Stops planned in Dallas, California, Seattle, Boston, Baltimore, big U.S. cities.
Lots of town halls and community events on the schedule then.
That was the plan, yes.
Okay, so he is on this tour, engaging with people, but here's where it gets really interesting, isn't it? The things he actually said during these stops.
Exactly. This is the core of the controversy. For example, while speaking in Baltimore, Maryland, this is July 26th, 2025, he made some, highly sensitive claims.
What specific?
Okay, first, he alleged President William Ruto needed to explain, supposedly meeting 3 al-Shabaab militia members at night in Mandera to discuss business, he said. And Gachagua actually stated, quite directly, William Ruto, Americans want to know why you're working with al-Shabaab.
Wow, that is quite an accusation, especially making it in the U.S. What else?
The second big claim was about national IDs. He suggested the government might be hiding something by allegedly removing the vetting requirement for non-Kenyans getting IDs.
Vetting for IDs, that sounds like a security process.
It is a crucial one traditionally, verifying identity, background checks. So removing it, that raises immediate red flags about, who could potentially get Kenyan identity documents. And he tied this to international security, too. He claimed the Americans are concerned that suspected terrorists will be registered as Kenyans and will find their way to America and the rest of the world and create terror.
Okay, those are incredibly serious claims. Linking the president to terror groups, suggesting security lapses with IDs, especially coming from a former DP. The potential fallout internationally is huge. So how did the government back in Kenya react? They couldn't have ignored this.
No, definitely not. The reaction was very swift and very strong. From senior officials, you had Deputy President Kithure Kindiki and the Interior Cabinet Secretary, Kipchumba Murkomen, both publicly weighing in.
And what was their message?
They essentially demanded that Gachagua record a formal statement with the police as soon as he got back to Kenya, specifically about these terrorism-related remarks.
So calling him to account legally, basically.
Yes. Murkomen, for instance, he was speaking at Elgeyo Marakwet, and he really didn't mince words. He accused Gachagua of disparaging the country, said he was treating serious insecurity issues like a joke just to score a political point.
Political joke, huh?
That's how Murkomen put it.
Mm-hmm.
He said very clearly, as soon as he lands, he must record a statement to tell us which meetings he's doing with terrorists. And he warned public officers generally against using national security for, political gain.
Right, drawing a line. And Kindiki.
Kindiki backed Murkomen up. He urged the relevant agencies, the police presumably, to hold Gachagua accountable. He stated, we want to ask the relevant agencies to make sure the people saying they have that information must be held accountable, must record a statement to help us protect Kenya from harm, bandits, terrorists, and criminals.
Okay, a united front from the government demanding answers and accountability.
Exactly.
Right.
And if we sort of connect this to the broader context, Deputy President Kindiki made a really specific point about separating politics from national security.
How so?
He pointed out that Kenya has suffered badly from terrorism, from cattle rustling, other crimes for many years. It's a serious, long-standing issue. And he said, and this is a key phrase in Swahili, hatuwezi kufanya jambo la ugaidi iwe jambo la mnaza na mambo ya siasa.
Which means
Roughly, it translates to, we cannot make the issue of terrorism into a joke or a political matter. He's stressing that this is far too serious to be, trivialized or used as a political football.
that makes sense. Drawing a clear line between political debate and issues that affect the core security of the nation.
Precisely. Because when you blur that line, especially on an international stage, it can erode public trust. It can muddy the waters with misinformation. It can even complicate things like international cooperation against actual terrorism, which relies on trust and clear information.
So what does this whole episode really tell us then? When we look at the bigger picture, the politics, the international angle?
Well, I think it really highlights how the game has changed. With digital communication, social media, a statement made anywhere can instantly become a huge domestic issue. Thousands of miles don't matter anymore.
The geographical distance is almost irrelevant now.
Almost. It makes controlling the narrative much harder for governments, but it also gives figures, even former officials like Gachagua, a global platform to wage domestic political battles. It's a fundamental shift in how politics can be played.
Okay, so just to quickly recap where we've journeyed in this deep dive. We started with Gachagua leaving for the U.S. Followed his tour, unpacked those really explosive claims he made in places like Baltimore.
Yeah, the Al-Shabaab and ID card allegations.
And then we saw the government's very firm, unified response back home, demanding he answer to the authorities.
And what this whole sequence really throws into sharp relief is that central tension, isn't it?
Yeah.
The balance between, political speech, freedom of expression, and the incredibly serious responsibility that comes with talking about national security.
Yeah.
Especially when you do it overseas.
It's a very delicate balance indeed. So as you think about everything we've discussed, here's something to consider. How much impact can these international statements from political figures truly have, not just on the politics back home, but on how a whole nation is viewed, its security posture on the world stage? What responsibility do leaders, current or former, actually carry when they take sensitive domestic issues onto that global platform? And what are the unseen consequences, the ripples those words might create long after they're spoken?